Hello and welcome to the Break Run Bar. I am the island like no other, Deck. I'm joined by always beautiful Tyler,
Thank you.
and he is the music man. He is Nick Hutson.
Everyone's welcome at the bar. Hello.
Always is.
Spoon,
Everyone is always
spoon,
welcome at the bar.
Thank you for having me on. It's lovely to be here.
That's no worries. Thank you for coming on, mate. Of real
Yeah,
privilege
thank
from
you.
us. We enjoyed your musical, and before we get all into that, let's ask how you doing.
I'm all right. I'm looking forward to next week, as I think so many people are. By the time this goes out, it'll be this week. I'm looking forward to the past. When the parks can finally open. I don't know if you've got plans, but I'm off to Chesington and Thorpe Park next week, which would be lovely. It's weird. I mean, this season, it's a kind of normal closing time for the parks to be closed, but it seems like it's gone on for ages, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the parks have all done a brilliant job. And I think with everything happening, 2021 might be the best theme park year for a very long time. I mean, 2018 was great because we had Wicker Man and the Icon.
Yeah.
The Icon? We had Wicker Man and Icon. But there's so much happening this year.
Oh,
I mean,
totally.
because it's 2 years blended into one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which,
I just have a good feeling. About this season.
Exactly.
I think many beers are going to get drunk.
Yeah.
Especially at Mardi Gras, baby.
How have you found your lockdown?
I've actually quite enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I've been doing, I've had bits of work. I built this whole new studio behind me, and in front of me. Not built. I swapped rooms around. Because I work from home anyway, it hasn't been that different. It's just been little things like going to the shops is now quite boring.
Yeah.
It's kind of mental stuff, but I've had my jab, which is really, really useful. And I think we are doing incredibly well as a country.
Mm-hmm.
I read today that Germany had like 730,000 jabs, so that's good that they're kind of picking up the pace.
Yeah,
they're
and
picking up the pace because they're lacking. The reason why they're lacking behind is because of their absolute stupidity with France. Oh, it causes very rare blood clots.
Yeah,
So we won't stop it.
Is that? I mean, it's difficult. I mean, we're getting the it's not called asteroids. What's it called? The
AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca. We're getting another one being approved here soon, aren't we?
No, is it the Moderna?
Out now. We got 4 out now, haven't we? 3 or 4 out now.
Yeah.
Is that Moderna. The Moderna? Yeah, that's it.
Moderna. I want Boris Johnson and Johnson to come over here because that'd be great for the young people, because that's just a single jab.
Yeah.
So that would speed things up massively. But anyway, I'm sure no one wants to hear this discussion.
I had my AstraZeneca on and now I'm shitting it because of all these like things coming out about blood clots and
I haven't had any
paracetamol.
Yeah. Or the contraceptive pill if you're a woman.
Yeah. That's the argument, isn't it? I think you're fine.
Definitely.
I think I'm losing beer somewhere rolling behind me. Oh yeah, there is. Sorry.
Dropped his drink.
Beer first.
Beer first. Beer first, questions later.
Wow.
That's not half what I got.
I have one beer a week, which is on Sunday nights on Zoom, which is again the lovely thing about lockdown is I think I've actually, through video conferencing and stuff, you kind of get closer to people. Because everyone's been around, and I kind of will miss people not being around, if you know what I mean. So every week my friends and I get on Zoom and I have an Erdinger. Now I'm in my 30s and I haven't ever drunk beer ever until about 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that, Deck. I don't like the taste.
I think on the 12th you're at Thorpe, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm at Thorpe on the 12th.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in for
Um,
it. No, I'll treat you to a nice Goose IPA, mate. You'll love it. It's quite nice.
Oh well, Goose IPA that seems to, but I don't. It's funny. So many people who dislike beer love Erdinger,
Mm.
and I since the other night I actually had a Peroni,
Oh, Peroni is
and
nice.
it was nice, but I missed the foamy head. Said the priest, the choir boy, and it just didn't. It didn't have the same effect. So I will say, like so many theme park geeks, Erdinger is my favourite, and I hope it comes to Thorpe Park Oktoberfest. It was at Towers Oktoberfest, but it wasn't. They had Spartan.
Yeah, Spartan they had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't didn't go Oktoberfest last year. I was running around like a headless chicken for other stuff.
Mhm.
But no, I was really looking forward to going to Oktoberfest. Anywhere where they actively encourage you to have a drink in a theme park, I'm right there.
I think it's something we always do much better than the Americans. My friend, the legend from In the Loop, came over to England years ago, and America's very funny about alcohol in parks. They don't really encourage it, and if they do, it's like I think it's one drink per ID that you're allowed, and you get little tiny like thimbles of beer, like ounce cups and things. And then there's him, who's a massive beer drinker, just going nuts at these kind of pint bottles that you can get for about £3. He was having the time of his life.
I think in America, I think it's to do with state-wise. I think whichever state you're in is all different because like Texas and like not Texas is a state. I mean, sorry, I'm thinking in my head, but it's like hillbilly South. It's all about moonshine, whiskey, and a lot. You're talking maybe Miami's more of a chilled out mojito. A chilled out like drinks just a chill out. New York is very weird. It's like at the end of a busy day, you go to a thing and have a drink. I think it's a culture of different states.
Yeah.
But they're still very strict, and that is a nationwide thing. You know, you could look 80 years old and you'll still be asked for ID at a bar, which is so weird. And I think I've exhausted my alcohol talk. That's it. That's all I have.
I can give you.
You could talk on and on.
I went to the MetLife Stadium in New York. And being a Brit, you turn up there, watch the NFL. We thought we'd have a couple of brewskis. And so we went and asked for some. Oh, I can't give it to you. Why? You got an ID? Yeah, here's my ID. English passport. If you got not passport, driving license, no, you got to have a passport. So I'm not suddenly going to carry my passport around constantly on me.
Yeah, we had that at Epcot. So I was at Epcot, and my friend could get a drink in Italy, but couldn't get a drink in Japan or something because each manager had a different rule on what ID was allowed.
Yeah.
And she said, I haven't got younger as I've walked round. I'm the same age as I was in the other country. Surely I can have a drink. Because like, no, our manager here won't allow it. It's like, oh God, they're a funny country, aren't they?
I do love the Americans, though. I find them brilliant. But if you're beating them, they don't want to talk to you.
Well, they know how to do that. They know how to do good roller coasters themed to dinosaurs.
I know.
Yeah, Velocicoaster.
We will definitely get onto that later on. Okay, but first let's. First of all, welcome to the bar. I haven't said that yet.
Thank you.
Second of all, let's actually talk about one of the big things of the community this year, and that's theme park fandom musical. So
it's been so long. I had to listen to it on the train earlier to remind myself. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I was one of the lucky ones. You messaged me and said I won. I was one of the first ones to win the poster, and I got it proudly displayed.
It's in the back there.
Very, very nice, and very weird as well to see that on my wall. I've got one here on my wall as well, but you can't see it, sadly.
I do love the fact that you actually did write a note with it saying what phrase would be better with what.
It's all in the detail.
All in detail. I did go for a different one. I went for a being a range one, which does make it pop as well. Sorry to say, didn't take your advice there.
And you've also got some merch, haven't you, out for it?
Theme park fans on the merch. Yes, we have a T-shirt. We have a lovely mug actually, which I've got here.
You have a face mask as well, don't you? I've seen them.
We just released some face masks. We just released some face masks. We're working with V Creative, who are excellent.
Yeah.
This is our rather fetching mug, which is
lovely.
It's very
That's
nice.
nice.
Got T-shirts. We've got the badges are quite fun. Sorry, I just bumped my microphone stand. The badges are fun. Yeah, I mean, it's there if you want to get it. It's just nice that there's still little bits of interest here and there.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to pick off like it did at all.
It was amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Thank you. It's lots of work.
I could imagine.
I really
what was that? What made you think of doing that?
Well, I did the I'm a Theme Park Fan song in 2018, and people wonderfully kept saying, when are you going to do the next one? When are you going to do I'm a Scare Maze fan? When are you going to do this? When are you going to write the new, like, when are you going to write more theme park comedy songs?
When are you going to sing a song about getting drunk in spoons?
Exactly. The life questions that need to be answered. So yeah, I thought, okay, well, let's do a theme park musical. And what we ended up with eventually was a very wonderful meta celebration of the community about Blackpool, setting it in Blackpool at a time we couldn't get to Blackpool, and having all my friends play either themselves or other people, and then all getting together that evening to be together, to listen to people being together. It was this wonderful kind of catching, what's the phrase where you catch a star, it's
lightning in the bottle.
Yeah, that's the one. And it works whenever you listen to it or watch it, but it really worked on that February the 6th, that magical day, because there was such a kind of lovely communal feel around it, which was the plan all along, really.
It's brilliant.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, the songs were very good. The storyline was very good, and it just it made everyone's day when it came out. I think there was nothing but good press about it.
Yeah.
Even so far as going on to the BBC, I believe.
We were on BBC Radio Lancashire, then BBC Northwest News picked it up. We've been on Heart FM. We've been on Rock FM Lancashire.
What was that like then? Was that like quite surreal? Because obviously you've put a lot of time and effort into, designing and having ideas in your mind. Was that like a real proud moment? Because it would have been for me.
What, going on Rock FM Lancashire or going on? Well, they're so quick. I mean, the hard view with funny enough, Jamie Theakston and Amanda Holden. It was so quick, and the whole thing's, and it always sort of like 8 o'clock in the morning. So, and the hard thing is, how do you explain this show to people that don't get it? In 20 seconds, and the elevator pitch. So it was bizarre, but everyone we've told about it just, that's a brilliant idea. Why hasn't there been a musical set in a theme park? It just makes absolute sense. So yeah, it was great to go on all those channels and to talk about it. But the charity thing is the most important thing to us. To raise £1,000 before the show was even released, and then another £1,000 after it was released. And John Wardley and Neil Patrick Harris and the Aroma Prime scent and the cast album being available. If you're in Weatherspoons, when the pubs open, have a look in the magazine, because there's an article about it in there. So it's just kind of, every single element has come together to create a perfect
Do you think you
immersive
get to play the
experience.
Spoon song in Spoons though?
I don't see. I think now we're in the magazine, I would very happily somehow try and get in touch with the management at Blackpool for next February and see what we could organise. But you have to remember, there are people in that pub who aren't theme park fans, and you have to think about that side. If we hired the whole pub, which is not possible, yeah, I think it would be nice. Hopefully, the show will still have relevance then, but I don't know. It might have,
I think for us it'll be all relevant, mate. I think it takes us back to such a good time in a lockdown, like I would say, a shining star moment in this second lockdown, where it should have been everyone should be at Blackpool on opening weekend. I know I was planning a trip to go up there for my first time in Blackpool for donkey's years, and as a vlogger and
donkeys.
Pun not intended.
Maybe an ass.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got it. What? But carried on for that. But just because of lockdown, it's like kiss me quick. That's gone. That is a pun. Kiss me quick.
It was a pun. It just wasn't very funny. Carry on.
I know. I never do anything funny. It's just I'm an idiot, and that's what makes people laugh. It's brilliant.
Me too.
But yeah, I very much thank you very much for that, because I really appreciated that.
It's all right. I mean, my theory with creating anything, if it makes one person happy, you've done your job. The fact that it's made nearly 11,000 people in weird parts of the world as well, like Canada and America, who it's such a British show, but the story of it was so lovely. That it's really relatable. And I don't think we've heard the last of the show. But that's for many years down the line. But I'm if it were just to never be developed, I'm happy with what we've done. We set out to raise money for charity, create a musical for the fans, about the fans, and we had a white old laugh doing it. That's the main thing.
We all like to hear. And Tyler, just think maybe next year we might be in it. In a few years' time, I won't be singing.
Hopefully, I won't be singing either. That'd be lovely.
Because it might have to be a Wurzel song to get the accent go through. So.
Could be like Dad brought his cider.
With a combine harvester and chatter.
I got a brand new Weatherspoons.
We got one in the Oval, and it's a dive. It's rated one of the worst in the UK, and they're looking at doing before lockdown. It's going to be like they're going to do a multi-million extension to it and make a rooftop garden on the top. Where then everyone who was smart enough and not who go there get pissed day in day out thought people are just going to throw cans off there. People are just going to throw bottles off there. It's Yeovil after all,
I bet they do a lovely West Country cider though, don't they?
Nah, they don't.
They don't support no local breweries or nothing.
We support our local cider here on Merlin Mavericks at a break run bar. It's called.
You should get a sponsorship deal from them.
We did have a sponsor for one weekend. My local cider company called Cider Shack, who deliver all over the UK. They got all sorts of Somerset cider, from little old Yeovil to Frome, from Taunton, all these places, and different varieties like bubblegum cider, Coca-Cola.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Sounds vile.
Rum cider. Let's say Coke cider, rum cider, normal cider. You want some strong cider rum, I think it was the other day. Literally anything they have, and I've had lemonade cider, mixed berries, all the stuff, and you can just have whatever you I've drank a lot of cider over last year. This weekend I'll come and get like 6 liters.
It was a summer's afternoon. I went to one of my local pubs and thought my friend was working there, so I have a chat with her, and I thought I would have a nice cider. I got absolutely twaddled.
Oh, sounds good.
It was only a pint, but I hadn't eaten. It was everything that I shouldn't have done, and I was crawling on my hands and knees going home. It was great fun.
Was you paying for it days after?
Can I just say,
No, I actually felt okay. I had water and ate something, but 2 of those, I'd be dead probably.
can I just say we do drink here at Break Room Bar, but we actively encourage sustainable drinking, i.e.
Yes.
eat beforehand and make sure you know what you're doing when you're drinking. I never follow those rules half the time, but still, it's nice to tell you guys to do it. No, I always eat before a podcast just to make sure keep my wits about me.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from theme park fan and musical, I'm sure we always come back to that sometime at time. Probably singing spoons.
Spoon.
Okay, I got to address the elephant in the room, because everyone knows this. And I'm going to try and say it without... Lucky Carl's not here. Yeah, sorry, Carl's not here. But But I want to talk about croc drop. Not what Carl thinks I say cock drop. Croc drop. So
yes,
the first fully COVID secure drop tower. I would say
it's amazing.
They've fixed around the COVID regulations. Brilliant.
The queue, it's all very safe. They got barriers up on the ride itself. It's all got roofs and kind of perspex things between the seats, and they got lovely little crocodile paw prints on the ground. And yeah, it's really, really safe, and they're prepared for the crowds, which it's inevitably going to get.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's the best themed ride, best themed thing in the UK.
Yeah, because I seen it on this morning today. And I was like, the theming looks insane. It looks so good. And
it looks like it's been there for so many years because it's so beautifully installed into the surrounding areas. You wouldn't have guessed there was a ride there 3 years ago. And it's perfect for Chessington. It's so Chessington, if you know what I mean. It's so, and that park is so important to me. I've been going there for 30 years.
So is it your local park then, or?
Ish. It's nearer, Thorpe is nearer, but as they're quite near each other, I mean, it's about sort of 40 minutes car trip away from me, which is quite nice. I don't drive, so I had to get the trains, but there is Uber, which is also very useful. So yeah, about 40 minutes. So, but I would say that's why I got into parks, because I grew up going to that park.
Yeah.
And when you're going on rides like the Fifth Dimension, Professor Burke's Bubble Works, then Terror Tomb, you get a real, oh my God, this is actually really, really good themed attraction. This is John Wardley's playground, effectively. Much more so than Alton Towers, I think, because he did Dragon Falls or Dragon Rock or whatever it was called back then, and he kind of said, okay, this is a zoo, let's make it into a theme park. That's that park. It's like the it's not the first theme park in the country, but it certainly was the best. It still is the best theme park in the country, in my opinion. And yeah, so Croc Drop is it's a joy to have done music to it. That's I'm thrilled with it.
Let's talk about the music then. Let's very quickly then. Did it give you like an outlook of what they wanted it to be, or did you just have to throw some things together with a very basic idea?
It's always back and forth. It's a lot of, for one completed track, there's 15 different versions of that and ideas that, they'll come up with an idea, and then you have to change music to adapt that, and I'll suggest ideas which they might love or they might hate. It's all about finding that perfect balance between telling the story and doing the best thing for the guest, which is what we've done. And
did it take a while to plan then? Was it something that's been going on for a while, or?
I can't answer that. I've been working on it since about July of last year. But the music itself doesn't take too long. It's just the kind of working out timings of things and fine-tuning ideas, working with marketing, working with the ride ops, working with the people at Merlin Magic Making, working with the project manager. It's just kind of everything. But it's hard to answer that question because it's such a blur. I don't know who did what and when it was done. It's just been done, and everyone is really thrilled with it. Kids are gonna love it. It's a really, really fun drop tower that is that kind of perfect level of a bit of a scare, but then you're not going fast, so it's kind of enjoyable.
I hate
you feel a lot higher than you are, and it's amazing just to look at the views of the park, but you're not up there for long, so you have to get
I'll probably enjoy that because I'm not a huge fan of drop towers, but that one
I just called you Ant. I'm so sorry. You're not Ant, you're Deck. You're the other one.
I'm the one with a bigger forehead. But I'm probably the height of Deck, so it's like, let's go.
Deck came into the shop where I worked once, and I said, "Oh, I loved last night's episode of
Takeaway."
No,
I'm a Celeb,
Pop Idol or whatever.
Biker Grove.
No,
Grange Hill.
Which one isn't Britain's Got Talent? What's the other one? The X Factor.
X Factor.
I said I really enjoyed the X Factor last night. Well, thank you very much, but I'm making him sound like he's from West Country, but he's not. I can't do a Geordie accent. He said that's very kind, but I do Britain's Got Talent, so I messed that up, didn't I? And I apologized and said I'm sorry. I get confused all the time. And he went, "Yeah, so do I. It's all right."
That's fair enough.
So go on. Sorry.
No, have you ridden it?
I have, yes. As I said, it's perfect for their target market, and their target market has changed over the years. So it's the perfect ride for families and people who might be not brave enough to get on Detonator yet.
Don't like that.
Isn't Detonator like the 4th most intense drop tower in the world, or something ridiculous?
I know it's the 3rd tallest ride at Thorpe, behind Stealth and Swarm.
I love Detonator. I mean, I hate it, but I love it.
It's a forceful job, because they actually use hydraulics to push you back down, don't they?
Yeah.
And it makes your testes go back in your stomach. But other than that,
I don't think they'll use that in the marketing material. But
but I don't get how a ride so forceful like Detonator. Sorry, I know we're still in drop towers. Is aimed at kids with Angry Birds.
Brave kids. I mean, to be fair, if you played Angry Birds, you're probably about 35 years old now. So
about 20 now, yeah.
Yeah, it probably works okay. But it's I love Detonator. I get more scared on Stealth than I do on Detonator, because those kind of launches really terrify me. Those ones I'm okay with, because you don't get that kind of your face being squashed feeling. But yeah, Crop Drop is it rides very well. It's good fun.
That's brilliant. I can't wait to go on it. I'm really looking forward to actually looking at the stuff they have done to make it COVID secure. I'll be very interested and hope it is like what they've done on the advertising, like you said, individual. Because that might give it more of a personal experience to yourself, and being with a group as well. So it's quite a smart way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it works really well. And you know, whether they keep that, I don't know. You know, once all this COVID stuff is over, it's. But for now, it's safe. It's a wonderful ride for Chessington, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, brilliant. The only thing I would say about those screens, and it's just a nuisance. I have a very young, my cousin's daughter is very young, and obviously she'll want to go on it, but she's a nightmare. She's a little adrenaline junkie like me.
Yeah,
Like, somewhat. She is like would go anywhere, and I'm taking her to like the theme parks. I'm going to try and take her to as many theme parks as I can this year.
She's definitely a little enthusiast in the making.
Little adrenaline junkie, trust me. She watches the road every time she's with me. Has to be Alton Towers fireworks, and then every single ride from every single theme park.
Oh, definitely a mini enthusiast.
Every ride from every theme park
on
in
YouTube.
The world. That's a long evening.
Yeah, it starts off with England, and then I'll say which country do you want to go, and then normally it's America.
Yeah,
and it goes Universal, Disney, and all this. So, but I've trained her well.
Yeah, you
have. I am definitely taking her to fireworks this year. I promised her last year. I'm going to try and get her to go this year. She is she's like a mini me sometimes with my attitude towards things that are like that. But launch coasters, I agree with you. I don't like them as much.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah, someone here does.
I'm not biased here, and I'd say this if I weren't involved, but take her to the Oakwood fireworks, because it's such a lovely summer event, and you have the party beforehand where you get to throw UV paint around and have a bit of a dance.
That sounds a bit of me.
Hang on, that sounds too much like I'm going to have a few on it.
And then you have a really good fireworks show, and it's an event people forget about. You know, I know Oakwood is far away, but if you are in the West Country, it's probably quite easy for you to get there.
Yeah.
And it's got really, really good kids area in Neverland, and the spooky street as well. So it's certainly an event I suggest going to.
We will definitely have a look at that.
Definitely, yeah.
A little bit of a thing I'm going to say now. A little break. Say we have T-shirts.
Hey,
literally coming today. I've only got a few because it's only for the people with Murder Mavericks. But if anyone's interested, please let me know. I'll be more than happy once I get a few numbers. I am doing them locally, so it's not going to be off Teespring or anything. I want to support my local community, especially with what's been going on recently. So if anyone would like one, please message me. I'm more than happy to put you on a list. And once I get a few numbers, I will literally get you someone to send them out. Okay. It's obviously Merlin Mavericks at the front, big Merlin Mavericks at the back. I will not do a twirl. I'm sure Tyler will when she gets it with her.
Yeah.
I'm very proud and excited to announce that.
I mean, at the moment, Tyler's expressing all, please.
Yeah.
Tyler will. She's already had a twirl off me. She wanted to see the back logo, so she's seen the back logo.
I was like, give us a spin.
But yeah, so brilliant, mate, guys. If anyone want to get one, just let me know. We do hoodies as well. So
no.
I love hoodies.
Yeah, I think this is a bit too big. This is an XXL, and this is like baggy as anything on me. So
yeah,
but then I like it baggy, so it's all right. Doesn't show.
What size did you get me?
You asked for medium.
Oh, now I'm thinking I should have got a small. It'll be all right. I'll make it work.
It's called a belt. Okay, so are we all for a little game?
Go on.
Sure.
So you're an enthusiast, aren't you, Nick?
Of some things, yes.
So, yeah, theme parks mainly, mate.
Yeah.
So I've done this before with Tyler. I'm going to give you out some elements of a roller coaster ride. You just got to name the ride.
Okay.
Okay.
Go on.
Pretty simple.
Wait, is it just going to be elements this time, or are you going to give out like
theme? I got the theme as well for one of them at least. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This one does have an IMA score. The musical score's by IMA score. Okay.
Right.
So this hasn't got. Oh, the one element it has is chain lift hill. The length is 1,476.4 feet. The height is 55.8 feet. 0 inversions. The duration is 1.15. Right, and the original theme was a giant pinball machine.
Spinball Wizard.
Spinball Wizard.
Okay, let's go with. Oh, this one might be an interesting one. Okay, so the length is 2,362 feet, height of 100 foot, 3 inversions, give or take, if you're going to have an argument with that.
Galactica.
No.
No.
Vertical angle 100 degrees.
Smiler.
No.
3 inversions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Smiler has got 3 inversions, does it?
Duration 1 minute 40. Elements: an inline twist, a vertical chain lift hill, an Immelman.
An Immelman.
Immelman.
That's it. I can't pronounce stuff like that. And a dive loop.
Is it Crake or something? Or Flug the Demon or something like that? Or
it's a Gerslauer Eurofighter.
Saw the ride.
Yeah.
Thought was that, but I didn't want to say.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about IMAscore rides.
No, I got it's just random ride. I just thought that was a
okay.
So I thought I'd say out.
Sorry, I thought they were all linked by IMAscore. I was trying to.
There's no linkage in it. I was actually thinking of doing a connections round somewhere, but I haven't really thought of one today.
All right.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Okay, length 3,838.6 feet. Drop 98.4 feet. Speed 52.8 miles per hour. I'm not saying inversions. Duration 2 minutes 45 seconds.
Wait, is there inversions or not?
There is an inversions, but I'm not telling you how many. Because then that counts as a load of makes it easier.
Is it Colossus?
No. Elements: heartline roll, chain lift hill, corkscrew, dive loop, reverse sidewinder, corkscrew. Yeah.
As was evident by the many, many, many inversions that he was listing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Colossus.
Count them on the fingers like
that. Okay, 2 more left. There's just one and one more. Okay, this is all off Roller Coaster Database.
Okay,
so,
fancy.
I know. Little shout out. Length 2,788.7 feet. Height 98.4 feet. Speed 44.7 miles per hour. Duration 1 minute 32. Elements: chain lift hill, loop, cobra roll, double corkscrew, quad heartline roll.
Stealth? Swarm, sorry?
No.
Is it in England?
Yes.
Okay. Say the elements again, Derek.
Chain lift hill, loop, cobra roll, double corkscrew, quad heartline roll.
Is it Nemesis?
Nope.
I don't know. Inferno?
Oh, that one's hard.
That's very even if you think the word quad. Count them and count quad. What does quad stand for?
I don't freaking know. You're talking to me.
So count
I don't
them
know these things.
and add the quad as 4. So 4 heartline rolls and then the heartline roll.
So it is Colossus.
Yeah, that one is Colossus.
Or 10 looping coaster, or whatever they're going to call it if it ever opens.
Well, if you could fit in it, that's what I just say. One more then.
Okay.
One more, and then we'll. Let's just get it up now. Sorry, it takes a bit of time. Okay, so elements. Oh, sorry. Height of 155 feet. Speed of 70 miles per hour. 4 inversions. With the elements are a dark/show section.
Wicker Man. No.
4
Wicker Man's
inversions.
4 inversions.
Wow.
Yeah.
What Wicker Man are you on?
Just throwing anything out here now.
An LSM launch. An Immelman. I got it right this time. A dive loop.
In England?
No, not in
Okay.
England. This one.
Oh.
An LSM boost. 155-foot tall top hat outside. A 100-foot long 0G stall barrel roll.
Velocicoaster.
Yep. That's why he said we'll talk about Velocicoaster later on. So
No.
lovely into Velocicoaster. Very much testing, very much ready for June the 10th. I cannot wait to see stuff like that. Maybe a POV on it.
Yeah, that would be good.
I don't think you will. I think they're going to be very, because they don't allow filming on their rides.
But they have. They've had the on the Jurassic World raft ride. They had series of POVs on it.
I think they're different with roller coasters than they are with raft rides, with water rides. I just think they want to keep things a secret, because I know even with interviews now, they're not revealing what happens in the dark ride bits. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, as America likes to do, they'll ruin it the day it opens, like with Secret Life of Pets. Though that POV is everywhere now, but that's a dark ride, so that's fine. But my theory is I don't think we're going to see many POVs. You can't get a POV for the new Hulk, can you?
I've been on the old one. I don't know.
Yeah. The new Hulk is really hard to get a POV of, because they just don't allow cameras or even phones in the queue line, I don't think. So maybe it'll be the same.
Yeah.
I hope so, because it kind of ruins it. And
it does. It very much
ruins it. Does. It really does.
That's why sometimes I don't like watching, like, I love watching. How can I explain this? I enjoy watching Jack Silkstone talk when he does his updates, like on the Monk's Walk, because I believe that's very, like, he's going to look, but he can't see anything. It's just speculation. And it's not being piggity, but going into like certain things to see a certain thing. If like I'm trying to be as, what's the word? I'll be here for all day if I think of the word. Trust me. It took me an hour and a half to get networking for an hour and a half. It was literally started before the podcast, went through the entire podcast, me thinking it, and then I remembered it just before they left off the podcast. That is how bad I can be. But
well, you've learned Immelman, so that's good.
Every day's a cool day. And the day I learned, don't stand on old batten without on a rafter. But no. What is it now?
But Jack Silkstone, you know, I adore Jack, and I think he knows what his listeners like, and you know, he likes the kind of drama about, there's a pylon there and there's a bin bag over there and things.
The tree that's been cutting in the trees.
Yeah.
That.
And I think, you know, the parks know what they're doing. They are always ahead of the fans, whether we realize it or not. And Universal are, you know, they know what they're doing. This is, you know, it's shit hot, this ride at the moment, and it's only going to get hotter. And it just looks incredible.
Oh yeah,
it looks unreal.
I mean, they might release an official POV. It'll be bits. I think they will control the POVs.
Yeah, no dark ride elements.
No, but there's also going to be no press events, which is the weird. This whole situation has changed so much as to how it operates.
Totally.
So they can very much control how things get released and when things get released. So it's going to be very different.
I'm just hoping I can get out there, because like I'm really
I think you're going to get. I think this summer you're going to get to America more than you're going to get to Europe. It's bizarre to say that.
I actually wholeheartedly agree with you, because it feels like that way. It feels like we'll have a better deal with them than we'll do Europe. But hang on, we're getting a bit. I know we're talking about coasters and going to American stuff, but on this pod here, we're talking about you, Nick. We're going to talk about your coasters, your favorite coasters.
Yeah,
it's weird. My favorite coaster in England that I still get a joy from riding.
Still got that tingly feeling.
Yeah, it's one that never really gets enough recognition. You mentioned its kind of slightly stupider sister earlier, and it's for me it's Dragon's Fury, which is just a ride that it's just awesome, and it doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. I really like that ride. I like the length. It just goes on and on and on. It's like 2 lift hills, which is insane.
Well, do you think because of the Chessington it gets less of attention?
I think so. I think if it were at Thorpe or something, it would be, and it's still the most popular ride at Chessington, next to Vampire for now. And it's just great fun. And if you can get a spin on that, holy hell, you are in that double helix bit. It's amazing. I went on it with a friend of mine from America, and he went, that is the best spinning ride I've ever been on in my life. And I love the marathon spinners. I think they're great. I think, even though it's not a marathon, I think Tornado Springs coaster.
Dawn Chaser. The new POV's out, by the way. Let's have a word.
Yeah.
The new POV. It looks very good.
It's very fast.
Very fast. I think the theming is very good as well. I think maybe you could have done a tunnel bit in it, but other than that, I think they've done it very well. Seems a bit short.
Yeah. They always do, I think, but because we're sitting at home, not really getting the thrills, it will seem short. But when you're on it and you got the anticipation going up the lift hill, did they include the lift hill in the POV?
They did, yes.
Yeah. But if it's short, fine. It means they'll get through the crowds quicker. That's good.
Yeah.
And it could have done with a tunnel, but I don't think a tornado would go through a tunnel. I think.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah, but you could have like one where it's like you're trying to stay away from the tunnel. If you're chasing the storm, trying to cover away. Do you
mean like more?
I'm going logical here. I'm going logical.
Do you mean more head choppers and stuff like that?
Yeah, maybe like a flying cow or something.
Yeah, like Twister.
Yeah. Just think it does look very nice, and I really appreciate a nice aesthetic 50s feel in that entire area. 50s feel in that entire area.
Someone went to Cars Land. That's all you have to say about that.
You're going to get a lot of good selfies there.
Yeah. Someone has been to Radiator Springs races and said we can do that, and they have. It's brilliant. And I've only been to Polton's once, but I really, really liked it. It has such heart, that park. And I said all it needs is a dark ride, a wooden coaster, and a water ride. And I think it will be, really, really a wonderful park. So hopefully, if this is the way they're going, lots of good investments for them in the future.
Yes, it's brilliant. I really it does make it feel like they're trying to beat Merlin at their own game in a way. They're starting to go, because like I talked about it before. They've gone through Peppa Pig Land,
to
get their money to get to something like this now.
Yeah, and family areas are the heart of every park, because if you can appeal to the family, everyone's going to go.
Yeah, unless you're Thorpe Park, then
Disney had this thing called the 4-2-1 model, where if you could get the 4 grandparents, the 2 parents, and the 1 kid, I think it's called that, to enjoy the whole experience, you've done your job properly. And I think that's what Paultons does really, really well. You got the gardens, you've got the thrilling areas now. You've got Peppa Pig for the kids. I think Paultons, like Phantasialand, will seem like a park of 2 halves, because you get the really invested parts, and then you get the kind of slightly, oh, this hasn't been touched since 1984, but we're concentrating on the new bits a bit too much, areas. So if they can continue to invest in the older stuff, that'd be really good for the park.
Yeah. Let's go back. Like, we always have a question here, and I always say it. It's Nemesis or Nemesis Inferno. For you, which one's better?
Why do we have to compare them?
Well, we've actually been through this, and we've actually explained. We never it's just this whole thing.
Basically, Deck's a big fanboy of him.
I'm a big fanboy of Inferno, and my last episode I explained why, and I think, and I'll be Coaster Gen with Luke from Coaster Gen. Sorry, I really enjoyed what he said. It didn't dawn on me at time, and through this week I actually listened again, and as I fell asleep, it kept growing on me every time I heard it. Your favorite coaster is not, because you'll find it number 1. I find Inferno probably number 1 as my favorite coaster, but it's not to do with the track layout. It's not to do with, and same with you, Tyler. It's
Galactica. Yeah, with Galactica, yeah,
because it's not about what it is exactly. It's about the memories. So whereas my memories was a bit silly, making a guy pissed off at me because I made the announcer say, "Whittle, I hope you're not going to cry on this one," and having a good laugh and trying to make him take his height because he's quite a short bloke, just having a laugh. But because you're with mates, it's a good time and a good experience. To where Tyler lost the flip flop and it was her first coaster,
Yeah, that was bad.
I think the thing with coasters is that it's more of a emotional feeling and a more of a memory kind of thing. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I absolutely. I'm not the best person at talking about coasters. They go up, they go down, they twist you around, and Nemesis Inferno does that as well as Nemesis. What I love about Nemesis is that really intense helix. That's the only kind of bit that really sticks out as being unique in that ride. But then, as you say, Nemesis Inferno is half an hour away from me, and Nemesis isn't. I really don't think it should have been called Nemesis Inferno. I think it should have just been called The Inferno.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that, because
when compare it.
Yeah, well, when you think of Nemesis, you think of the OG Nemesis, and then to kind of compare it, and the two different kind of, although they're not identical, but they're similar, at the same time they're still completely different rides and different parts of parks.
I think Nemesis Inferno does something which I really like, which Nemesis doesn't do, which is the really quite thrilling beginning.
Yes. Oh my god, that beginning bit makes the whole coaster.
It feels like you're going up the lift hill halfway through the ride.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I think Nemesis Inferno, just because to me it's slightly more unique than Nemesis. But Nemesis is amazing.
Nemesis is unique.
It's amazing.
Way. Nemesis,
but Nemesis doesn't have a first drop. The whole thing is a first drop.
Exactly.
Whereas Nemesis Inferno, just Inferno as I should call it. Don't they just call it that on
everyone just calls it Inferno.
They call it the Nemesis Inferno on the In-Betweeners. It has that kind of first drop, which it did in the Batman thing. I mean, it's better than any American B&M I've been on, both of them. Nemesis is. But it's hard, that they both equal each other out on the scales.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
I think it's
compare them.
personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
nice
when people try to. It's like when people try to compare Icon with Wicker Man. It's like, why?
How can you
Yeah.
compare Wicker Man? It's
The
two different
separate
rides.
things.
Because they opened in the same year
Oh,
at
for
the same
Yeah.
time.
sake.
So it's like
It's like
you
why
can like both, you know.
different fucking rides? Fucking hell. It's stupidity. If you need to have a fucking enema. I tell you.
Well, you've just answered your own question. They're both different rides.
They are both different fucking. Yeah, but the thing with I think Inferno, Nemesis, Inferno is that they're both B&M inverted. Inferno essentially piggyback Nemesis, right? And it's the younger of the two Nemesi, plural.
Nemesis. Nemesis. That should be the plural.
I go Nemesi and then go with that. I just think that because like I've been Thorpe Park, I think it's not really my home park. You can class Poulton's business hour and a half, and then 2 hours 10 minutes. To me,
Surely the Big Sheep is your home park.
I think it might be Longleat.
Okay.
So, but that's like animals. So, but it's
I don't think you can compare the two.
You're comparing apples with apples, really.
It's like saying, it's like saying what's better, Montu or Banshee. It's like, well, just because they're built by the same person, doesn't mean you should compare them, but people do.
Yeah. What about in terms of like theming, Galactica or Air?
What theming? There's no theming either.
Well, as Galactica lost its major USP, the theming makes no sense whatsoever. And Air went with the original concept, which was this beautiful kind of oasis of calm and tranquility. I think it would have been a lovely experience. I hate Air. I don't hate Air. I hate those kind of rides.
Yeah, like flying coasters.
Because I'm 6'2" or something, and I just can't get comfortable on those things. And when you're hanging upside down and your googlies are getting squashed and stuff, I just don't find it enjoyable. But I actually quite.
Self for me does that.
Yeah. I don't get that personally, but I actually the very few times I rode Galactica with the VR, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I was able to focus on that and not kind of trying to get comfortable. I thought the VR was really, really good. And shame that they kind of jumped on that bandwagon, realized it didn't work, and then thought, let's just call it Galactica and
have this poll.
Yeah. But it's still, the ride is still really important, as are so many rides at Towers, because it was the world's first one to do that. And for that, it's a very proud ride that we should be proud of.
That's what we were speaking to Luke from Coaster Gen about, wasn't it? And we were saying that like it's for us and stuff like that, especially for me, like it's more about the fact that it's also like a first. And I think for that reason that like it's kind of underappreciated, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's amazing. So many Brits, without realizing it, had been on the very first flying coaster, or the very first vertical drop coaster, or the very first coaster with a drop element.
The very first coaster in Virgins. The very first was not UK's first wing coaster.
The very first coaster was 14 Virgins, but
the very first IP coaster, Solar Ride. Going with Thorpe Park, sorry, Thorpe Park's credentials.
I really like 13.
Yeah, I like 13. Once
you put the marketing stuff aside, it's a really, especially that first drop. The first drop is amazing. If you sit at the back, you're yanked over the top of that hill, and it's a really, really fun ride. And I just go on it with a smile on my face the whole thing. And the indoor bit is insane.
Yeah, like I was going to say, the indoor section is the part for me that even though like I know it's there, it still gets me like really anticipated and like excited for it, and I'd take it by surprise. It's weird.
And you got some good elements in the backwards launch section as well. I think it's a great ride. One thing I don't like is Grand National, just purely because I do fear for my life on that thing.
I'm exactly the same.
Would you want to see, like, the way you're talking about, Nick, and the way I feel about it? I think Tyler might be the same. Theming makes the coaster, not the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if you look at Quat Drop is a theatrical experience. It's what I always look at with attractions is what can we do to make this an experience? Without it, it's just a flat ride.
Yeah.
But with the music and the beautiful theming and the lighting and the smoke and everything else, it really does add so much more to the ride. And, you've got kind of Icon, which isn't themed, it's stylized. Yeah. And so what the heck is this? I mean,
came in a dream.
Yeah, sure she did. And it's we love Amanda, but sure, whatever. Cherry blossoms and strange mirrors and stations. I don't know, whatever the theme for Icon is. But do you think if that had theming, would it make the ride better?
Probably would, because it's like when I'm with Swarm. Swarm's a very short ride. And what they do is pretty very intense as it is. Very short, only just over 1 minute 10 seconds, I believe, off the top of my head. Could be wrong. And the inverted dive is brilliant, but the theming around it. I mean, the fact you go under a helicopter wing, sorry.
Or an airplane wing, even.
Airplane wing, sorry, yes, airplane wing. I was thinking about going next to the helicopter neck.
You go past the helicopter, don't you?
Go past helicopter where they have where it's shooting at you and the water jumps up.
Yeah.
You could have fire next to you from a fire engine, if you're lucky. But when you walk into that area, and when you walk into the area, you're in for a treat. You got the music blaring, the guitar bass going. You've got U-Mix6 did the actual music video and the music for it, which they don't actually play now, which is quite upsetting.
I put it in for Fright Nights. For the Fright Nights overlay, I put the It's the End of the World. I put that in, and I played an organ, church organ thing over it to give it that real kind of apocalyptic feel. So go at Fright Nights and you'll hear it. But what's really cool about that, right, is it is separated from the rest of the park, so it is on its own island. So it is, you can't really
encapsulates you, innit?
Yeah,
encapsulates you. Sorry,
and that's what Merlin do very, very well.
Are you telling me you've done Fright Nights? So this is how I don't know yet. Sorry to be rude. And you did Fright Nights music for Swarm.
So last year I did the Fright Nights soundtrack, and 2018 I did all the new Fright Nights music, and then in 2020 we went back and we did things for Destinator, Swarm, Dark, Roots of Evil. What else do we do? I can't remember.
Oh my god, mate!
Deck's in his element now.
No, seriously, it was a great year, and I loved it. And last year, it's a shame I couldn't go in any of the because it was pissing down rain. It's a shame I didn't go in any of the rides because it was that torrential storm we had. I got unlucky enough I was going that way. But mate, I loved going on and the music just kept me going. And last year was the best year for Fright Nights in a long time, I believe. And I found it so with the fright scare zones and everything, and the music just
we started with the festival soundtrack. That was kind of the most important sound to get right. And then
the only time I got scared at the Fright Nights was that. That's the only time. All right, only time. All right, we're gonna go in it. I ran into two bouncers and a metal railing. All right, and you can ask my mate. That is the truth. All right, because I hate girls that frighten. And please do not be watching this. But if you were there following me, you did your job right. But please,
you'd have loved Molly Crow that we did in 2050. I think
I
that
can't
was
stand girls that I say I can't stand girls that follow me. It sounds weird, but if they're like just like they're like literally just following you and staring at you like that.
I hate that.
In the finale from Molly Crow, which was the hooded maze at Alton Towers, you took your hood off at the end, and they had this amazing scene where there was a priest, a vicar, whatever, and he said, "You must leave. Molly is here," and all the lights went out, and then she flew above you and then disappeared, and then the lights went out and then the lights went on, and then she was behind you, and the lights went out and the lights went on, and she was in front of you, and then the lights went out and there were like 4 different actresses playing Molly in this finale, and then she chased you out of the building. So that was
sounds so good.
I'm not fucking doing that for a game of marbles.
Well, sadly it only lasted 1 year, but it was
thank God for that.
If you can let me share audio, I can play you.
I can let you share audio, mate. You can.
You'll like this.
How do I share audio?
Poem that I wrote. This is going back years now, but
how do I share audio on this? I did it last time, didn't I?
So if you go to share screen and allow participants to.
That's it. See, I'm not technical savvy. I've literally just set myself up in a corner.
Doing very well.
I'm just here for the good looks, and then Tyler stole it. But
oh God.
Where are we? So if I do this, so this is some of Molly Crow. If you are wearing headphones, listener, just be wary.
I don't know.
Is this going to work? Let's have a look.
I can hear saying.
Yeah.
Molly's in her cot now. Crying can be heard. Molly's at the window, talking to a bird.
I can't.
Sorry, just decided to start again. Okay, fine. You have to go through it all again.
Oh my God, that's so creepy.
That sounds just like my cousin's little girl. That's the freaking thing.
Molly's in her cot now. Crying can be heard. Molly's at the window, talking to a bird. Molly's in the wardrobe. Father's on the stair. Molly's in her grave now, just beneath you there. Be careful where you tread. Be careful where you go. Be careful of the presence of little Molly Crow.
Yeah.
That sounds horrific.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was literally like crapping myself. I felt like someone's going to pop up behind me.
Yes, that was Molly Crow. I missed that maze. That was a really cool maze. It was fun.
Did you ever get to do the sanctuary?
No, I wasn't into scare mazes until very late in my life.
Yeah.
The first scare fest I ever did was the one I did all the music for. So it was Molly Crow, Subspecies, the park entrance tracks, Dark Apocalypse, and Nox Infernus. And I remember saying to Pete Cliff, who was in charge, I said I would never do Subspecies had I not worked on it, because that was a terrifying. In its first and second year, that was an intense maze.
Yeah.
And my first ever scare event, big scare event, was Thorpe Park, and that was in 2013, I think, when it was the Lionsgate partnership started, and you had Cabin in the Woods.
For that.
It was great, and I was so scared. I remember, I think I was clinging on to Michael Bolton's sweatshirt or something at the time. He was leading me through, and by about the third maze, I was saying, "Oh, that actor's not very good. Why isn't that working? Where's that?" And it just became about. It was such a relief when the phobia of scare mazes was lifted, because you got to experience this whole dark chapter of theme parks that I'd been too wussy to do. And it just kind of it opened up a whole new world for me, and then professionally as well. So I'm all for doing scare mazes now, which is good.
That's brilliant. Let's go with let's wrap things up with a little bit of quick fire questions. Obviously we'll have a little chat afterwards, obviously, mate, as we do, just to see how we digest things. But let's have some quick fire questions. You okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Thorpe or Alton?
Thorpe, only because it's easier to get to. But for that's really hard. I like Alton more because I do like dark rides, and I think that's where Thorpe needs more dark rides.
They got a Black Mirror coming.
Yeah, well, that's more that's a walkthrough. I don't consider that a dark ride. And Darren, I've massive affinity for Darren Brown's Ghost Train, and I have missed it. But one dark ride can't compare to Jewel, Hex, David Williams, the Dungeon Boat Ride, which I think is excellent. So yeah, for dark ride quality, Thorpe Towers. For roller coaster quality, Thorpe. I think Thorpe has a much. I do love Wicker Man, but I think Rita is.
As everyone does.
Yeah, much prefer Thorpe and Swarm as well. I think it has a much better lineup.
Yeah, more for like the adrenaline junkies, I guess.
Yeah. Best content creator you love to watch on YouTube?
Content creator.
Well,
interesting.
Theme park creator. Sorry, theme park
vlogger. I do enjoy Tim Tracker over in Orlando. I've watched him for years. I've known him for a very long time.
We'll get you on the pod.
Yeah, good luck. I enjoy his stuff. I enjoy my friend the Legend in the Loop, Legend as well. I do really like Park Spill. Sean over there does a wonderful job.
His cinematics are amazing.
There's a quick shout out to Sean. I know we've been in contact a couple of times, mate. Whenever you're free, please come on.
I really love Adam at Theme Park World Tour. I think he, the original kind of slow motion guy. I love everyone. If you're doing something from a park, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. I don't care what your camera's like. I don't care. As long as you're nice, that's all that matters to me. And thankfully, so many people are. So, I don't really want to answer that question because I don't want to kind of give favourites away. But
we understand that it's a bit of an awkward subject. We know your favourite podcast is the Break Room Bar, but we don't. I did have a quick one in there.
Yeah.
So, if you could change anything in the in Thorpe Park, any roller coaster replaced with another one, what would it be?
It has to be a roller coaster.
Yes, because I know you'll take out probably something like Darren Brown's Ghost Train or something.
No, I would take out Storm Surge.
Ooh, interesting.
And obviously, everyone wants an RMC, or they want. I don't think Thorpe's coasters need anything changed. I would probably take out though the Walking Dead the ride, just because I think it's a bit of a it's a massive space that if they were to do something, that is a perfect building for an Egyptian horror roller coaster / dark ride, because it's a triangle. And I think it would, I think it would really blend in with the kind of Lost Kingdom feel. You got
your Lost Kingdom. It's a mix. I agree with you, but it's a bit of a double. It's awkward because it's situated right slap bang in the middle of the park, and it's also entrances at the dockyard.
Yeah.
So you got the dockyard, and then you got the Lost Continent on the corner of it. If you understand what I mean. It's
it is the dockyard anything that suggests a dockyard, apart from the fact it's by water.
Well, yeah, it's just that they call it a dockyard. You actually look at the dockyard, so it's a bit weird. I don't understand it. If it was a dockyard, it should be next to the water, obviously, but it's slap bang in the middle of the bloody park. It should be and have a harbour and so on and so forth. But that's just ranting.
I just think there's more you could do with that space, but what they have done with the ride is really good, and I do enjoy The Walking Dead for a theatrical experience. It's what Merlin do very well. It's got the good beginning, it's got the good middle, and it's got the really good end. And I've always thought that ride, the layout of that, the weird kind of very tight corridors, really lends itself to a spooky experience. So I'm glad they made it spooky. But I think you could do a lot more with the spookiness to make it non-IP and to have it be
original,
blending in with the architecture of the building and make it work with the kind of Lost Kingdom, whatever they call it, the
Lost Continent.
Lost Continents in Islands of Adventure, isn't it?
Lost City, that's it. Lost City.
Lost City.
I should know. I got two posters right staring me in the face. Like the Fright Nights one and the original and a Normal Days one. But I didn't pay £7,500 to get it.
What about like coasters like that we don't have in the UK that are elsewhere, so like in Intamin Blitz, RMC? Like, what would you want to see next in the UK as a major coaster, and whereabouts would you want to see one?
Well, the basic bit answer is an RMC, isn't it? And it would be lovely if it happened, but I would like to see. God, I'm not great at coasters.
Hyper coaster at Thorpe, though.
Yeah,
Skyline. Now that everyone's saying hyper coaster on the Skyline for Thorpe Park, and I think you can actually have it go around the entire island.
I do think a dive machine would be good on that Skyline as well, especially with the water.
You could have a water.
Yeah. The problem with water coasters is when we don't do well with water rides in this country, because for that 1 week a year when it's hot, it's just not something that I mean, I don't go on Tidal Wave. I don't know about you, but
hang on, you and me are not going to go on Tidal Wave when we're there on the 12th.
No,
I thought that was going to be our thing. We're going to do that, and it'll be brilliant.
I'll hold the bags.
We'll spend the time together in that little heating car. It'll be fine.
Social distancing.
It will be social distance. Trust me.
I do think a hypercoast would work really well. If we're going to go with, if our dream world, certainly a Giga Coaster, or even, I would say something like Topfield Dragster, but it's got one already. I don't know. I think the lineup is fine at that park. I don't think it needs anything. It needs dark rides, and it needs more family experiences, and it needs
to separate. This is my argument. It's lost its way, and I can have this argument with you all day. And I appreciate the fact you say it needs to be family orientated, but we need that thrill. We need that place that only people would come to have those kind of thrills. You understand what I mean? It's okay to have a little section like the Angry Birds Land, but you've got your Alton Territory family, Chessington family, right next door to Thorpe Park. Legoland, and you just think Thorpe's got have an identity
Identity.
to make it stand out from the others.
Yeah.
If you say to him, okay, because let's be honest, they're trying to get that London crowd in, aren't they? So you just go.
And they do.
So
I think.
Go Chartered, here's for your teens and adults.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I think as far as thrills, it has enough of them.
Yeah.
So certainly a hypercoaster would be great fun and would be beautiful in the skyline.
And get a hotel, not a cabin.
Yeah. I'm sure they know all this.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult for the past year, and I can't say what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done because they're the experts, and they it's their business. So, but in a dream world, I think a hypercoaster would be great, or sure, an RMC. I think.
I think you'll save the RMC. I think they'll save it now because Wicker Man. Now you got a wooden coaster in Wicker Man.
Mm.
You can RMC Wicker Man. You can RMC. No, but way into the future, you can RMC it. You're talking. You
could
RMC like Grand National,
or knock it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of it. The first ever RMC dueling coaster.
Yeah. I don't think they ever will though, because it is a heritage thing. I think certainly RMC they could certainly RMC Megaphobia at Oakwood.
Yeah.
But they won't.
I really would like to go on Megaphobia actually.
Yeah, I would.
Very good. It was on the top 20 in the world at one point in its lifetime.
It's got a great soundtrack. I'll say that.
Who did the soundtrack?
They've got. I don't know. I mean, I think RMC is a difficult one because it's just the go-to answer. Is it's bad. RMC it.
Yeah.
But apparently, not every RMC is great. It's just kind of. It's that American thing of it's an RMC, so it must be good because it's big and it's fast. And I've been on Twisted Colossus, and that's it for my RMCs. And it's great fun, but it just feels like a steel roller coaster. And the joy of a wooden roller coaster is
you get beaten and battered.
Exactly. you don't want to come off a wooden coaster and say, "Oh, that was the smoothest thing I've ever had in my life."
Yeah.
It's like, well, you haven't done your job right then, because you might as well just build a really high
the best thing
steel.
You'd rather build another Velocicoaster.
Yeah. Or Taron or something, or or Taron.
Hang on. Or Inferno.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love Icon. Icon is good for Blackpool in so much it doesn't break your back when you ride it, which is unique for that park.
Yeah, I love Icon. I love the top hat. Yeah, I love the top hat. I love the junior Immelman. I do love Icon.
I must actually ask you, before we kind of, I think we've gone way off topic, and I love it. If you watch any of our podcasts, I literally love going off topic and going off the tracks because it shows us
like the Grand National.
Yeah.
So end of season, I'm actually getting a horde of people every time we're coming on actually asking this. So whether it happens or not is a whole different. People say yes or not. Tyler threw the idea out here of end of season, like an end of season party.
Mm-hmm.
Because why you have one at the start of season and be happy that you're there? You start, if you understand what I mean. You're there celebrating the start of the season. Why not celebrate the season you've had and finishing it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do one at Fright Nights. The 20th anniversary of Fright Nights. Somehow we just say.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get as many content creators, theme park celebrities like yourself, as I would call you, which you are, because you do your own YouTube stuff. But Nick on your YouTube channel is brilliant. You do a lot of work for Merlin and stuff like that, Friday Nights and everything. to come on and literally, I know it's not the end season, but it's Fright Nights. It's 20 years, just to, like, celebrate the season we've had.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really nice idea. And, you know, the whole start of the season thing, I don't even remember where that came from. It's just this kind of thing, isn't it? But
Yeah.
in normal times, the nice thing about being a Londoner is that the season never ends, because for 3 months over Christmas, one of the greatest theme parks just plonks itself down in London, which is the most bizarre thing in the world. In the world, and I really did miss Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
My bank didn't miss it, but I missed it. I just love the fact that, you know, I'm half an hour away from Hyde Park, so it's weird thinking, oh, there were about 12 roller coasters 5 miles away from me that are open till 10 o'clock at night. And if I want that, so I think if you're talking about the kind of London area, you want to have the kind of celebrating the beginning of Winter Wonderland and the end of the season at Winter Wonderland.
At Winter Wonderland, yeah.
Very interesting.
Because you've got a whole new set of rides that people are excited to get on. And I don't know, it just seems like more of an event than kind of the ending of Fright Nights. Ultimately, it's up to you.
No. It's fine. That's a great idea, actually. I really appreciate that. And that's a great idea to go with, because I never thought Winter Wonderland.
And you've got the biggest beer hall in London to go to.
All right. Don't need to sell it to me anymore. Right? Because you won't see me for the entire thing. I'll just be there. And you'll have to drag me out. That's the only problem. The thing with this year, especially with Friday Nights for me, was that 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
And I've only been here for 2. And I've missed a lot.
You look very good for a 2-year-old, by the way.
I know, right? The vocabulary's grown.
I was going to say, you've got a lot to learn with your vocabulary, but you'll get there by the time you're in your 4s.
And if you've seen me, my beard is gone now today. I had a beard.
Mine hasn't. And this is a whole new lockdown thing for me. So this is I'm new ground for me.
I got very annoyed with the whole. I mean, I had a beard, and it was lovely. It was ginger, but it was lovely. What happened to me was I tried to shave it today, and I got frustrated because thing is I wanted to trim it up, look quite decent. And because the other bit wouldn't nab the long hair, cut the long hairs, the small bit, I went, fuck it. I went, gone. Yep. So
you look very fresh faced.
I know.
Fresh trim spot before.
I walked out to get beer, and my face was cold. So
you're going to feel that on stealth. You're going to feel the wind on your cheeks.
I'm just worried about getting on Colossus, but they're renowned, especially with the bigger guys, that they don't like.
I'm always worried about getting on Colossus.
Colossus on bigger guys, and Charlie, you will not. I don't think you'll ever experience this.
No, because I'm not a guy. I'm not big.
No, but I'm not saying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So but if you're either tall or you're stocky, you struggle to get in those seats. And I do.
I'm fine getting in because I can just kind of slide into them, but it's getting out which is the hard bit.
And last week we were talking about week before with Lou. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and we got her back on really soon, guys. So don't you worry about that. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be an extravaganza, hopefully. But
it will be. It's Lou.
It's Lou. She is Adora the Explorer of
She's lovely
theme parks, and she is so sweet and so lovely.
She is.
I'm still waiting on that album to drop with the girls, so I'm waiting for that.
More work for me. Okay, fine.
It went so off track last time. We were talking about I was in my shorts and my legs are like tree trunks, and we're talking about the size of the legs in conjunction with the actual restraints on Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Chained oak legs.
So because my legs are so big because I played rugby, and my thighs and my quads are so big, they could barely get me on the one notch.
I played rugby at school. I hated
I bet
it,
you
but
were a centre or winger.
I can't remember. I was very good at just running.
Winger.
Mostly, just running away from people because I didn't want them to touch me.
Winger. Winger. Make your winger all day. Sound to say like that. That's the way it was. Yeah. I was a prop, mate, so I didn't mind people touching me.
It just looked kind of gross. The whole I mean, we did touch rugby, so it wasn't like full proper rugby, but it was.
Me, Nick. I'm 30 and I've gone through everything on it. I mean,
Well,
I've been groped. I've been
surprisingly, for my stature, I'm not the most sporty person in the world. Especially, like I'm dreading Monday because it'll be the most physical activity that I've done and it's mentally going to be very difficult for people to get out there and be in crowds again. And
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited.
I'll be there with you, so we can.
I'm not sure where I'm going to be or when, but yeah, if you see me,
if we bump in, we'll shake hands, have a COVID elbow.
We'll elbow each other.
We'll elbow each other. Head down to have a little drink, have a little chat, and have a good paddy chat. Yeah, can we?
Yeah.
Little break away from the bar. Or even go to Rapids. How's the Rapids?
Sure. It can't be any worse than the music I did for Oktoberfest Rapids. But
I like that. I listen to that.
I like that.
I think the Oktoberfest music was brilliant, mate. I really do.
I agree.
Well, that one, yeah. This is a Rapids. It's a bop. Yeah, I loved Oktoberfest. I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah.
Just urging her.
I would love to see. Hang on. Game beer number 4. Hang on. Beer number 5. Which is actually quite easy for me because I normally go through 14. So
wow.
This is bad. This is actually like I'm chilling out.
And it's a school night as well. No, it's not a school night, it's a Friday night.
I normally do work Saturdays, but I'm not working this Saturday, so I'm lucky. We got a couple coming up. As Nick, I was so proud when I got you on here, mate, because I really love theme pop fan of musical, and I was very happy with it. And for you to say yes, I'll come on and you talk, mate, I was very happy.
He is drunk. He's getting emotional now.
Yeah,
Tyler would know. I always get emotional, don't I, Tyler?
Yeah, he does. To be fair,
because I feel like every day on my podcast is a bonus day, and I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm overstaying my welcome. And
no one in this community is outstaying their welcome because we all love the same thing.
Yeah,
and
but to me, mate, it feels like if you're new on the block, it's very hard, especially in the content creator section, like I am, and so many others are. That it can be a bit daunting, especially when you got your brand new podcast to bring people in. I have had replies from several people that are waiting to come on.
Yeah,
we're actually hopefully by May. We've got the whole of April sorted. That's what I like.
Cool.
So, and then hopefully I can start bringing towards the end of May. At the end of May, what I want to envision myself to do. Patent pending, and we're gonna have the feather boas on the beach. We're gonna be in bright green, bright yellow, bright purple, having a carnival lifestyle. I might even wear a thong and a feather thing. You never know. So, but
I would pay for Patreon to see that.
I'll pay Patreon people not to see that. Okay.
Yes, that's another way of doing it.
You don't want to see an 18-stone man do that. You do.
Thank you for asking me to come on. It's lovely, and I wish you all the best of luck with the podcast. I've done one for 12 years with the season pass podcast, and we've had Tony Baxter on about 1,000 times. I've interviewed John Wardley about 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
It's I was doing podcasts before they were even a thing, and it's they're really good. They're lovely just to kind of get lost in on the train journey or
get drunk too.
Exactly, and everyone has their own style, and you found your niche. It's really, really good, and don't always enjoy it. The minute it becomes not enjoyable, just stop it, because they are they're tough. But if you got the drive and the passion and the presenting, what's the word? Kind of.
You gotta if you're gonna do
exactly.
You have to. Sorry, man. I don't want to cut you off. I really don't.
That's all right.
If you're gonna do podcasts, and there's a bit of advice here, and it's not really advice because I'm very new into this. You gotta have the balls to do it, and the way I see it, you gotta have the balls to know what's right, know what's wrong, and you gotta work out and you gotta always cover your ass. And I find if you always cover your ass, you're fine. I always find out when I do a podcast, everyone knows me. If everyone knows me and how I do it, I have quite a few beers. I chat, and I got Tyler and I got Carl, and you need you need a good supporting cast.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm the head honcho, I'm the big daddy. I'm saying, let's be honest, Tyler is.
No, but someone has to press the buttons. You know,
someone has to do the grunt work, don't they? Someone has to do the grunt work.
Yeah, you have to do the editing.
I've been listening and supporting and been part of a very, very important podcast for me called coasterradio.com. And Mike, who does Coaster Radio, he, back in 2018, is the voice of WWTP at Fright Nights. So, I owe them a massive debt because podcasting has changed my life entirely, whether it's my musical theatre podcast, which I've been doing since 2006, I think.
Yeah.
Or the Season Pass podcast, when I think I started that in 2010. It's just opened up every door to me, and completely by accident.
Yeah.
I didn't plan that, but it's a joy to kind of. I've got sort of 10 years of theme park history in my library that I can go back and listen to the opening day of Darren Brown, or the opening day of Wicker Man, or the opening day of I don't know, the
Walking Dead the Ride.
Yeah, or Enchanted Tales with Belle, or random things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just great to kind of have your own personal audio diary that you can go back and listen to. It doesn't matter if no one listens to it. It's for you to enjoy. And that's also why I kind of toy around with vlogs, is because sure, no one watches them, but they're there if I want to watch them and relive, showing my friend Disneyland Paris for the first time or anything like that. And so always create content for yourself. The fact that people want to listen to it is a bonus.
It's a bonus, yeah.
To me, this is like, it's weird. For me, this is weird because if it was for my other half, that I wouldn't be doing this. But she pushed me to do this kind of thing because I was toying with it like a puppy, kind of like toying with a chew toy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe I do it. She went to me, just do it, and you'll be happy, and see how it goes. And my missus can be the best supportive person in the world. So during this, she's actually told me she's alright, because now she's watching Ugly Betty. So now she's watching Ugly Betty, but she's nearly gone through all seasons already, which is So I've actually been watching them until about 11 o'clock every week. So every day.
What you have to do is get her to listen to a random episode and say, "Is this interesting for you?" And use that as your kind of litmus test.
No, but thing with my missus, she doesn't really my missus is from the Philippines, and I love the fact she's from the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, she's always from those things. She's done it once. She's done it all the time. So she's from one of those people that goes, "I've done Thorpe Park once. I don't want to go back there again.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back there again."
Get her on your show to talk about the Enchanted Kingdom, which is a beautiful theme park in the Philippines. I did a Ghostbusters attraction for them.
Went there because the Enchanted Kingdom, and she's actually told me this, was very much for the rich kids.
Okay.
So what was essentially for us £40, she said to me, was very much like that's a lot of money in her where she was living. I mean, she was talking to me about like going to see her dad, and like it's like you got the journey over there, then you got at least another day's journey just to get to his village.
Yeah.
Sounds like trying to get to Oakwood.
I'm not trying to get on Towers, and I missed a turning for on Towers.
Yeah, or Towers.
Towers can be a pain in the backside. It's not really signposted that well if you go off the main roads. But yeah, Nick, thank you very much for being on, mate.
Thank you, Nick.
You're very, very welcome. I wish you all the best of luck with the podcast.
Thank you.
And,
where can we find? Let's search deets.
My website's nickhutsonmusic.com. I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that junk. Please listen to the musical if you haven't. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and my YouTube channel. Please give to Calm, which is the mental health charity that we are supporting for the musical. You can still donate. And that's it. Thank you so much. And get on Crop Drop as well.
Yeah.
Crop Drop, amazing new ride. COVID safe.
Yep.
But Nick, you've had your airtime. You've done your versions. You're now in the break room bar. Please take off your belt, lift your restraints, and exit to left, please.
Will do. Thank you so much.